listening to Pop This, the podcast where three women talk about pop culture. Here are your hosts, Lisa Christiansen, Andrea Gin, and Andrea Warner.
Okay, question for both of you. Are you small bag or big bag people?
What do you mean?
Like
when traveling
no,
or every day
if you go out, do you like I have a small bag and I have a big bag and I interchange them. But whenever I have the small bag, I'm always disappointed. But the big bag is such a big giant headache to carry around.
I have a big bag, small bag, medium-sized bags. Lately, I've just been using some tote bags. So one of them is like my Suspiria record tote bag that my friend Mel gave me. Because it has a nice long strap that like tote bags normally don't have long enough straps for me to put over my arm. And then the other one I've been using a lot lately is this designer, Andrea Wong, who I really love. She's a local designer, and maybe I partly love her because she uses her initials as her like brand logo, and it's AW and mine are AW. So, you know, but she also makes these really cool tote bags that say like, they have like those classic designs from like old vintage, like plastic bags that say like, thank you. And then like the cool designs on them. Anyway.
Oh yeah. I've seen
Yeah,
those.
they're great. I love them. And so I have one of her tote bags, that I've been using a lot lately. But the arms don't fit on my arms. So that's the only bummer part about that. Anyway, I use all the bags, all the sizes.
I used to be a big bag person when I was younger, but now as I've grown older and older, the bags are getting smaller and smaller. And I'm almost down to just carrying like a card case with my like, debit card and credit card and ID in it.
Nice.
Yeah, because I can't be bothered to haul around a bag if I'm just going to the supermarket. Like I'll take obviously tote bags to carry the groceries in and stuff like that. But with my personal items in it, I will just sometimes just put like that card carrier in a pocket and go to the store with it.
Where's your
grocery
phone?
Bag. I sometimes I can put it in a pocket. Yeah.
You can put it in a pocket. And then so you've just got the cards and you don't worry about having like a book with you. I'm always concerned about having a book on me.
See, that's your problem. That's when you get bag creep.
Yeah, I know. It's like that Rory Gilmore disease. Remember when she has like 6 books because she doesn't know what mood she'll be in and what she'll want to read?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I also do card carriers sometimes only. Lisa, do you remember the little zip up tiny wallets that you brought us back from like Mexico a number of years ago?
Yeah.
I used that for the longest time and would just tuck it into my pocket and my phone in my other pocket. And I never really worried about having a book on me because I would also pack my headphones and I always have audiobooks that are on the go. So, yeah. But I did find that I was routinely needing, if it was sunny, I needed to have my sunglasses because I have prescription sunglasses and regular glasses.
Forgot about that. I have to carry that too. Same.
You have to carry that. I need hand lotion all the time.
Same chapstick. Need a good chapstick.
Yeah, and I also, for the longest time, in the last at least couple of years, was carrying a lot of hand sanitizer. So, yeah.
Yeah. I just taken to wearing these kind of, well, I mean, they're literally called like work jackets, but they're like, like gardeners kind of wear with like
smock.
Big pockets on the front. Yeah. I've gotten one of those and just like put all my junk in these massive pockets in the front.
So you're basically wearing a bag, but you've adapted that bag to be your jacket.
Yeah.
Now I understand cargo pants too, right?
Yeah. Cargo pants.
Everyone makes fun of them, but do you really need a bag if you've got cargo pants? Like you can put everything in them.
I, for like a long time in the very early 2000s, had like 2 pairs of like cargo pants. And I remember packing those pockets.
Oh, God.
Just full of stuff. And like, they were always sliding down. And I hated belts, so I would just never wear a belt. And like, you really stretch out your clothes in a way that like, you'd think a cargo pant would be there for you structurally.
Mm-hmm.
that they should be able to withstand the freaking cargo. But I don't like it did not hold up.
Is that the definition of the cargo pant? Is because it's like you're carrying cargo? I never thought about it.
But it should be. It should be.
Well, you know how in the last few years the fanny pack has made a
Yes,
comeback?
and I understand that.
Yeah,
Me
I
too.
know. Like, I've been contemplating it, and like, do I want to go there? You know, like, it makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
It seems like it would be comfortable. It seems like it's the right size, but I just haven't made the leap yet.
Well, there's those kind of
buying
ones
one.
that are over the shoulder too. Those fanny packs, you've seen
Yes.
those?
Yeah, and I've seen like people just kind of wear it across,
Yeah,
Yeah.
crossbody.
their chest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the right fanny pack could be very cute for me personally with the right dress. But because I don't know that I ever want to go back to wearing the bras that would lift up my boobs enough to create enough of a waist to be able to do a fanny pack.
Wow, here we go. Here we go. Well, at least it's not the lower half that we're talking about. It's the upper half.
Look, I got to keep it real.
Yeah, you do.
And this is a perfect segue because I really loved how aspects of this movie, as absurd and ridiculous and wild and strange as they were, kept it very real in some places. I'm Andrea Warner.
I'm Lisa Christiansen.
I'm Andrea Gin.
And you're listening to Pop This. Yay!
Yay.
Summer edition.
Oh, that was
Summer
underwhelming.
edition.
Yeah, summer edition. Summer movies. Summer fun.
This.
And I mean, if nothing else, this is a good summer movie.
If nothing else, boy, there's your
Everything.
review, hey?
I was like, there's AG's review right now. I was waiting for it. I debated this. I was like,
if nothing else, 5.
I was talking about it with Carlos, and I was like, you know what? I don't know where this is gonna land because I know how I feel about it. I can guess where AG lands on it. Lisa, maybe a bit of a wild card. Could really like it. Could maybe not. Don't know. I'm really excited to talk about this with you guys.
Yeah.
Let's start.
We haven't even said the title, have we?
Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. I love this title. And
Yeah.
I think, if you're sold on the title, you're probably sold on the film. Even if you had no idea what it was about, which I did not.
I saw it a long time ago. I'm pretty sure I recommended it.
Oh, amazing. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah, I mean, the tragedy of my story in this movie is that I watched it on Lisa's recommendation like a few months ago. And in the interim time before we decided to do it, completely forgot every detail about the movie. And so I had to watch it again yesterday.
Oh, I've remembered everything about it.
It had been completely erased from my mind.
I honestly, I'm so sorry. I had forgotten that Lisa recommended it and that's probably why we ended up doing it anyways. And I had no clue what this movie was about. I had when I told people that I was watching it, they were like, "Do you have any idea what it's about?" And I was like, "No." And
Well,
they're
it's
like,
pretty
"Great."
much all in the title, so I'm surprised you're a little bit.
And
No.
furthermore, when because I had the image in my mind of the two main characters, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's about two middle-aged Midwestern ladies who go to Florida. And then I rewatched it again, and I was like, oh,
It is in its own
why
way.
didn't I remember any of these absurdist elements to the film? Like, this is all very surprising.
So it is about that for sure. But I gotta say, I mean, yeah, and I know we haven't done background or synopsis or anything yet, but if you don't know what this movie is, and if you don't know what this movie is, just stop listening to the podcast right now, go watch it and come back, because I did not know that there was this whole other layer to this movie of a ridiculous plot to mosquito bomb a town, and that
Revenge, high school
that there was
revenge.
this,
And then you get tricked into watching two musical numbers.
oh my, the musical numbers are fantastic. But honestly, so we opened this movie with this incredible, kid, I just salute to Yo-Yo, whom I love so much, who is played by Rain Doi. And he is a genius as far as I'm concerned. I hope he has a huge future.
The opening scene is
is amazing. And he's just like singing along to this like groovy 70s song. I think it's 70s, maybe it's early 80s. And
it's called Guilty, and it's by the Bee Gees.
Sorry. And he's like delivering newspapers and he's having a great time. And then suddenly, like, he stops in front of a tree and is like scanned, and a tree opens and there's like an underground layer. And I was just like, I did not know that this element of the movie, like, I did not know that this was an element of the movie. I had no clue.
I was enjoying that opening montage so much. And then they got to that tree part with the scanning, and I was like, oh no. Oh no.
I loved it. It's like yeah. Anyway, okay, let's do this. Would anybody like to read the background?
Sure, I'll do that. This is from Wikipedia. Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar is a 2021 American comedy film directed by Josh Greenbaum from a screenplay by Kristen Wiig and Annie Momolo, who also star in it. Originally scheduled for a 2020 release, due to the pandemic, Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar was pushed back and released in the United States via video on demand on February 12th, 2021 by Lionsgate. Gosh, I think that's when I watched it. I watched it pretty much out of the gate.
Amazing. Wonderful. AG, you want to do synopsis?
Okay. So there's a note here that says spoilers ahead of the synopsis, but trust me, this is so bizarre that even if you hear this, you will not remember anything about it when you get to the movie. Kristen Wiig is Star, and her real-life BFF, Annie Momolo, is Barb, a pair of perm-having, Chico's-wearing besties who work together at Jennifer Convertibles and live together because one is divorced and the other is a widow. When one of their friends comes back from Vista Del Mar, Florida, raving about how it's a paradise for horny, middle-aged Midwestern women, Barb and Star decide to take a vacation there too. They're looking for men and to have a good time, and also to visit the much-lauded 24-hour CVS. But what they stumble upon is much bigger than that. Star finds love, Barb finds empowerment, and together they foil the evil plans of supervillain Sharon Gordon Fisherman, also played by Wiig, who wants to destroy Vista Del Mar with mosquitoes. And that's from Heather Hogan via Autostraddle.
It's true. Even hearing that doesn't even come close to what this movie is like at all.
No, it's true. It's completely true. I cannot tell you the untold delights as each new weird thing popped up on my screen. I was so tired while watching this movie, and I had some champagne and like a bit of an edible. I was in the perfect state to watch this. Now, I will confess, I actually like fell asleep at the end, and because I was just exhausted, and I had been freshly boosted as well, and I had to rewatch the last 15 minutes today, just to make sure I got every juicy morsel, and I had been sleepwatching it, I guess. Anyway, I love this movie.
Okay, good.
I love this movie.
I love this movie to distraction. I don't know why it hasn't become a cult classic already. Like, as soon as I saw it, I thought, I want to see this again and again.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
So funny.
So
oh my
funny.
God, it's so funny. I love it so much.
Yeah, okay, good. I wasn't sure. I couldn't tell. You were like holding
I
back for so long before you finally said you liked it. I thought you were going to be, well, that was an interesting, with the high voice.
I'm withholding in the same way that not going to be a real couple. I'm withholding the same way that Sharon Fisherman is. I'm just can't lead with an open heart too close to the top, you know? Yeah. So, AG, you're the one who I really wasn't sure, like, for sure. Like, because we talked about how, like, skit humor, not your thing. Like, really broad characters, typically kind of not your thing either.
Yeah. I mean,
was curious.
I think it's like one of the articles you linked to described it as like one long setup for a Saturday night live sketch. And I kind of agree with that. And like, if that's something that you like, you're gonna like the movie. But if it's something you're not that interested in, this is just a strange movie.
No, it's a strange movie for sure. But to me, it's the mixing of all of the elements that make it so extraordinary. That I definitely think it just played around with almost every genre and form it could.
Yeah, I mean, I think it called to mind like an Austin Powers movie. And so I feel like if you're down for like an Austin Powers movie or a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure type movie, then yeah, like it's good at what it is.
Wow, that is a real ringing endorsement there. Wow.
You know what? One of the
I
things,
want to see that on a poster.
It's good at what it is.
Andrea Gin, pop this.
Sometimes that's the best you can. You know, that's fine. That's fair. Like, and I think like appreciating it in that way that's nice. You know.
Well, I mean, because here's the thing. Like, there's nothing I feel like I want to criticize about it. Like, the performances are good. It's original story. It's like it's a fun movie, but it's just like, do I want to watch it ever again? No.
Oh, wow.
Whereas I want like everyone to see it. I want to like watch this with like friends. I want to introduce new friends to it.
Yeah, I agree. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I agree.
I literally want to like, and I have a friend named Trish. So as soon as that like sort of jokey part started, I had I took a picture of the screen and texted it to my friend Trish. I was like, this like, as we were texting, I was like, oh my God, this is evolving into like a 5-minute joke. And it is so funny and it is killing me. And it is 1,000% something that I would do with one of my friends as well, which is just like, decide that you're going to create and invest in like an entirely like made up heroine of your own making. Because like, you know, you each like the name, whatever. Trish is such a good basic name, you know, like it's not like Veronica or like Dominique or some, you know, whatever.
Celeste.
I love Celeste. I love that Barb and Star's favorite name is Trish.
Well, maybe this is like a white woman thing, a comedy thing, because like none of what you said made sense to me at all. Those are all the same names to me. Those names are all the same to me.
Sure. Veronica and Dominique are the same names as Trish?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. I don't know. And Celeste? Like, I mean, even Celeste?
Yeah, they all feel like just like names of white.
No, I mean, Karen. You don't think there's a difference between Veronica and Karen?
I mean, like, difference how?
Well, just in the kinds of like a basic, like, people make fun of Karens because it's the most obviously basic name ever. Like,
but
Karen.
So you're saying Trish is like
Karen,
like a Karen?
Yeah.
Name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or like Jane.
Yeah, I think Jane has a little bit more mystique. It's very...
Really?
Yeah,
why?
Intriguing.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm curious why.
It's not as... It has more of a twee kind of, like...
See, this is white woman stuff.
I love it. I love it so much. I mean, like, you know, your name is Andrea and my name is also Andrea. 3 syllables is typically like that one small notch above a 1 syllable like name, you know, like a just
really?
Yeah.
In terms of what?
In terms of basicness.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, this has gone in a direction I was not expecting.
Who decides that?
No one. I don't know. It's not a rule. This is what I'm saying.
They do.
This
and
is
they
fun.
know. And then we follow them.
Barb and Star decide it for themselves. Anyway, I do, like, okay, I was thinking about, you know how, like, we watched Thunder Force and, like, it wasn't really, like...
Great.
Like, but I still really enjoyed it. And the lobster scene killed me, like the lobster dance scene where they're, like, having that absurdist fantasy dance, and how I still will go back and watch that scene. Barb and Star is filled with moments like that for me.
No, stop.
I swear to God,
not.
like, the really extra ridiculousness, like, I love it. I will eat this up. Like, when he's singing a lament to the seagull, like, I mean, it didn't have to be Jamie Dornan in that role. Like, it could have been anybody. I wouldn't have cared which sort of, hunky himbo it was. But I do like the consistency of, in the Bridesmaids world, it's always Irishmen who are the fantasy man.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, like
So why is that, do you think?
No, I mean,
I think that's a coincidence. No?
I don't know, man. Like, you have Chris Dowd the first time, who's not like a hunk, but like Jamie Dornan is definitely a hunk. I think it could be just one of those quirks that, like, Kristen and Annie are just both like, yeah, okay, another Irishman. We haven't done, it's been 10 years since Bridesmaid.
I thought maybe they picked him just because he was so against type after seeing him in The Fall.
Oh, yeah, that's a good, and also the 50 Shades of Grey thing.
And 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I do still get a bit of a chill down my spine when I see his face on screen because of the
Yeah,
fall.
no, exactly.
Yeah,
so that's why I thought it was,
yeah.
it was a fun part for him to take.
Yeah. And I think, like, I think he does, like, a fine job, but, like, God, you guys, one of the other scenes that I laughed so hard at is when they, like, start to have their night of debauchery the first night that they've met, and it's the disco version of the Titanic song, and they're dancing, and honestly, the disco version of the Titanic song, it makes me laugh so hard, so that I was already sort of on board for that. But then we wake up and we see them wake up together in this, like, stack of bodies, and that they've had this, like, these two very, like, sort of seemingly, this, what we've seen of Barb and Star so far is that they have, like, very small lives, it seems, and then They have a talking club, which I'd love to talk about the talking club again at some point.
Let's talk about the talking club.
They make wiener soup. They have a talking couch at Jennifer Convertibles, the coolest store in town. And then they wake up in a pile of bodies, having had a debaucherous night of three-way sex with a stranger. And they're very chill about it.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing awkward. There's nothing. It's just both of them sorting out which one of them has, like, the bigger crush on this dude. I mean, I guess they stay away from, like, the obvious thing being, like, aren't they allowed to also have romantic feelings towards each other? But, like, that's fine. Like, whatever. Like, if they don't want to go there, I guess that's fine. But, like, the stack of bodies and the way that the bodies went from, like, Kristen Wiig to Jamie Dornan to Annie, there was something about the mound and the shape and, like, the size of them. I laughed so hard. And then watching them tumble off each other was, like, a real joy. Anyway, that's...
Yeah.
Talking Club.
Yeah, I love Talking Club. Yeah.
Okay, so... to answer me this question, did you to find the hot dog soup, like, did it look good to you or did it look disgusting?
Disgusting.
I wanted to vomit. Okay. It looks so gross.
Yeah, that's so disgusting.
Okay. I'm just curious.
AG, you?
I don't know. I mean, the sound of it sounded terrible, and then I saw it, and then I'm like, it just kind of looks like soup, so maybe it's supposed to be okay. Like, I've lost my way in this movie. I don't know.
I really thought it was going to be more watery. I was it looked to me more like a stew than a soup. And so I was surprised by what looked like its textures. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Second question. Is Talking Club like what you to like, is it like your book clubs in any sense?
I mean, it seems to me like it's more of like a kind of charades meets Toastmasters, where you just have to talk about whatever the topic is that you pulled out of that little jar. But like this is more fascist. Like there's just such hardcore rules. Like when she locks out the woman who's like there at like 3 seconds after sex, and and Vanessa Bayer's character takes so much pleasure in it. Like,
yeah, that's what I meant though.
No.
Like it's just the dynamics
No.
of it. Okay.
No.
No.
Like I don't think anyone.
So that was funny too.
Oh my god, it was so funny.
It was very funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love.
Got it. Both things were jokes. Got it.
Both things were jokes. Are there any other jokes you need to fact check with us about?
No. I mean, if as they come up,
Okay.
I'll ask questions.
Okay.
Wow. I feel like we're really under the microscope
Well, I
here.
don't know what goes on in your clubs.
It gets people get together, and you're the only thing I would say that I kind of admired was in a book club. It's kind of hard to keep people on topic with the book. It's really easy to swerve off and start gossiping or just talk about something mundane about your life. And so to get it back on track to the book can sometimes be a bit of a challenge. And at a certain point, you just give up. So I admired the focus. I'll say that.
She is focused.
Yeah.
I feel she is draconian, and I like Vanessa Bayer playing that with like her sort of like all teeth smile. Like
She always acts like almost like a little girl that's just a bit demented.
But like, yeah, oh, absolutely. Like a very, yeah, no, I love it because there's so much edge to like her, otherwise like seeming sweetness. I also like all of the actors in the Talking Club. Also, for the record, AG, I don't belong to a talking club.
No, a book club.
And I have never belonged to a talking club.
I wasn't sure if talking clubs and book clubs were like synonymous.
I've never heard of a talking club.
I've never heard of a talking club.
Okay.
Is that like the
also,
idea
I
like a
believe-
salon or something? I mean, I recognize it's probably based on a book club more than anything else, but
Yeah.
isn't the salon idea where people get together and share ideas and talk about different things?
Yeah, this is why the charades element that they evoke here is kind of interesting to me and sort of extra funny, as just like the idea that you can't just talk about anything as you might at a salon, that you have to stay so specifically on topic when the topic is so narrow, like jobs. But like,
But sometimes like you say that your book club is like not about books, like you're just social. It's a social thing.
Sometimes, yeah. Especially if the book's a bit unimpressive.
and sometimes like your book club literally just sort of evolves into like more of like a weekly hangout.
Talking club.
Well, not really a talking club. Like we don't have a rule. Like you don't pull out no one pulls out a word. That's the thing I want to just really be clear on. This talking club seemed more like a fight club in terms of the rules that governed it.
I see.
And
Okay.
not.
So your club is like people talking, not necessarily about books, with no rules governing it, but still just talking.
I mean, it had been a book club, and it still can be a book club sometimes, but we just don't do book club all the time.
Wow.
Got
I
it.
didn't know that. That's something.
Though the main goal originally of the book club was like only doing books by fat writers. So
You meet
the
weekly?
No, we were
Oh.
meeting like every few months, like
Yeah, okay.
before the pandemic. And then we continued to meet in the first year of the pandemic, but we've sort of just a little bit given up because it has been difficult to have a stretch of time where everyone is healthy and we can be in the same space.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate that this movie gives us like Annie Momolo in a starring role, because I feel like we don't see her nearly as much as we see Kristen. Like Annie wasn't in Bridesmaids. Like, she didn't have a role, or at least not a, like, very present role. And I thought she was really fun. I liked her journey. I liked her going off and doing independent things with all of these random folks. And, you know, and I also just really appreciated at the end how she was like, no, I'm independent now. Like, I'm empowered by this, like, time in this weird space. And I don't know. I really thought she was so charming, and I want to see her in more things.
Yeah. Agreed.
I mean, her face looks so familiar, but I can't think of movies I've seen her in.
I mean, she's definitely been in a couple things, but I don't think it's been a lot, you know? Like, probably just, like, maybe, like, one-off roles or, like, guest spots or whatever. Like, kind of in the way, like, Andy Garcia shows up as Mr. Tommy Bahama himself.
Yeah, that was amazing, hey?
He's so distinguished. I mean, the most ridiculous outfit, but so distinguished. I also really enjoyed, like, the weird... There's, like, a couple more weird cameos. The Morgan Freeman crab. And then Reba McEntire showing up as
a mermaid.
Incarnation of Trish.
Yeah.
My God. I gotta say, when both of them showed up, I kind of lost my mind. I was like, this movie is relentless. And, like, if you threw an idea at it and they were like, that's weird, but what if this? It's like one-upping each other the entire time. Yeah, like, there's just so much, like, absurd offs, and I really appreciated that.
I wonder if that's what it often comes down to, is that whole, what's the expression in improv?
Yes, and?
Yes, and. That's what it sometimes feels like these movies are like, is almost like a dare. And they just keep going on and on and on. And that's why I like them so much, because it's not possible to guess what's going to be next, because you don't know.
I didn't even know Kristen Wiig played the evil character for the whole... I watched the movie twice.
This movie is a whole revelation to you. Oh my gosh.
That's incredible.
I know. I only realized that when I read it after in one of the articles.
It took me, like, a while too, because I was like, the voice is familiar, but, like, the teeth, like, the teeth work do a lot to sort of transform her face.
Do you want to know my confession? I thought it was Cate Blanchett.
I at first I thought it was either Cate Blanchett or Tilda Swinton. I was like, okay, well, they got one of those folks.
And I thought,
or
finally a good role
the
for
woman
Cate
in
Blanchett.
Jurassic
No,
Park.
Oh, or Laura Dern. You're right. Yeah, the lady in Jurassic Park. Is that the one you mean, or do you mean Jessica Chastain? No, not Jessica. Bryce.
Yeah,
Jessica Chastain.
Or Bryce Dallas.
Bryce Dallas.
Yeah. I thought it might have been Bryce Dallas.
Howard.
Yeah,
whatever.
Kristen Wiig, like, she has such a tall.
We just named a bunch of people that are, like, could be interchangeable.
I mean, to a certain extent, yes. Kristen Wiig is so, like, tall and thin, though. Like, it was sort of like, it made sense that it was her, but I really do think, like, those teeth transformed her in such a way that was it was very special. I also...
Yeah, I did not suspect it was her for a second.
Are you guys...
Of the 4 hours I've spent watching this
film. Are you guys surprised? Like, I don't know. I felt a little bit surprised to realize that it's been 10 years since Bridesmaids, and this is only the second feature that they have written and done together. Like,
yes.
Does that... Because, like, it seems like after Bridesmaids, they would have so many opportunities thrown at them.
I bet you if they were here, they would say, in that knowing kind of way.
Yeah. And yet, like, this movie, as a quote-unquote follow-up to Bridesmaids, seems kind of almost wild.
Well, if it was supposed to come out in 2020, then they must have started working on it quite early. Like, when did they start working on this movie? Right?
I mean, I don't know, but just the fact that, like, this is the follow up to Bridesmaids seems like if it had gone the way, like, say for example, it wasn't Kristen Wiig and Annie Momolo that wrote this, like, say it had been a Good Will Hunting thing, right, where it was like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, and people were like throwing money at those boys. I just feel
I
like
know.
this is like sort of like another sort of obvious proof in Hollywood that a bunch of people didn't necessarily throw money at these two women because they were like, well, Bridesmaids was a one-off, and like women women comedies aren't really like that interesting to us. This is a surprise hit because it feels more like a Judd Apatow thing, and therefore I don't know. I have some suspicions that the behind the scenes details around how this came to be their second collaboration together are probably grim, the way that a lot of Hollywood stuff is.
I'm going to agree with you. Just because it's best to default to the worst possible story. And you're not disappointed.
Yeah. Did any of you have a favorite gag?
I really enjoyed watching the empowerment of Star and how with the Tommy Bahamas at the end, being Andy Garcia, as you said, that made me laugh very hard. I thought that was probably one of the funnier things I'd seen.
Yeah. I laughed very hard when Star was just very, very clearly like, yeah, you're going to have to be inside me now. Because I really liked the bodiness of like that pops up here sometimes in this movie, you know, like Barb says she got a labia piercing and then they're just like, yeah, besides that, I took it out right away. You know, they're very frank about the sex that they're interested in and what they want. Star decides that like just a good sexual relationship is what she needs and she doesn't need anything else. And I mean, you know, eventually she decides she does, but that's fine. Like the idea of these two middle-aged women going to Florida and being like vitamin D and then also D'd back to life. Like I
Wow, did you
really
just make that up?
appreciate this. Yes, I did.
Wow. Outstanding.
I just really appreciate this. I was like, I'm so much closer in age to these two women who like than I've ever been, I feel like, in a movie about middle-aged women going on an adventure together. Like, and I mean, they have like these other lives behind them. Like one has a dead husband and one has a husband that left her and was obviously like not very good because he told her that she was disgusting and that's like so awful and terrible. And they have this like really beautiful friendship that's also, you know, a little bit codependent or whatever. But they each can pick up and like figure out independent lives for themselves in the space of like just a few days by sort of opening up their hearts a little bit. I really liked that. It made me go, ee.
Yeah, I know. I agree with all of that, but our pineapple princess here is still looking very suspicious.
I mean, I liked all the times that Rain Doy as Yo-Yo was on screen.
So great.
So funny.
I love
every
him
time.
so much. He's so charming and so cute.
Mm-hmm. So much charisma.
Oh my God. I could watch that little kid dance forever.
Yeah.
Like, I can't take my eyes off him. It's like, I get why some people did not care for this or like found it too silly or like whatever. But its ridiculousness is very winning to me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's what got me.
AG has nothing to add. I love this.
Oh, am I supposed to add something in here? Are we?
I thought you froze.
just like a deafening silence is swallowing us more and more whole all the time.
This is not a mutual love fest. I can tell that.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But
I mean, I feel like maybe I don't have the tools to appreciate this movie.
Well, here is someone who agrees with you. Rolling Stone, and I did not write down the name of the writer, and that's my fault, but Rolling Stone's review was not pleased with the film. They said that the movie was designed to be difficult to dislike, but if you're not the type to back down from a challenge, it gets easier.
Wow.
Quote, the purposely messy, garish, and disposable comedy from Bridesmaids writers Kristen Wiig and Annie Momolo, who also star as the 40-something Midwesterners of the title, is so determinedly low stakes that to quibble with its candy color craving to be liked is to be a terrible killjoy. And then I left out a bunch of stuff. The bridesmaids were grown-ass women foul-mouthedly working through their high school-level jealousies. Barb and Star are a decade older but seem mentally and conversationally stuck in kindergarten, which I think is a bit harsh, but anyway. There is something depressing about two actresses in their 40s playing down to the most condescending parody notion of what women in their 40s are like, especially when those exact two women walked that line so brilliantly only for 30-somethings the last time they collaborated on a screenplay. Does that resonate with either of you?
I see his point. Or him or her point. I do see that, but I think the point of the story was to say, you make fun of women who look like this. You make fun of women who are like this, but we're here to tell you that they are way bigger than you think they are. And so I felt it was affectionate, just the same way Melissa McCarthy makes those kinds of characters. You know, like you undersold this person. You didn't expect very much from them. And I'm here to tell you that they're filled with all kinds of things. So that's my only pushback to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, there are some good points in that as well, but it is that line about, like, it's not liking it is like not liking cotton candy or something. Like, it's, I mean, I don't really have anything like, you know, I just don't think it's, you either like it and consume it as like a fun, bizarre movie, or it's just not for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and that's the thing though. Like, I think, I think those 2 points, like I can agree with that. With this writer suggesting that it's depressing for these two actresses, like, I don't see I definitely think more on the line that you do, Lisa, is that these two characters aren't depressing parodies.
Mm-mm.
Like, these two characters, I think, like, they're playing up aspects of stereotypes, but I think there's a lot of love for these two characters in both Kristen Wiig and Annie Momolo's performances. And I think you're right. It is more about sort of like underestimating, you know, women who get written off so much socially. Like, I don't see it as condescending at all. It's kind of weird that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting to hear. Because, like, I don't know, when I was watching it, I'm kind of like, I was thinking, well, are like middle-aged Midwestern women sort of like a group that it's okay to satirize in movies, and that's why this is funny?
I mean, maybe, like, I do think, like, there is sort of like there are certain stereotypes to, like, middle-aged Midwestern white women specifically. And I do think it's okay to satirize those things. I just think that they are doing so with, like, a lot of love, because they're not, the joke's never on Barb and Star. Like, Barb and Star are fully empowered women who save the day and who, like, get, you know, they're the heroes of this movie, and they're the heroes of their own lives too. Like, I think something that is, you know, if this movie, like, we've seen movies where people have traded in stereotypes of characters and, like, reveal how much they actually hate these characters that they have then sort of attempted to parody. And I don't think that that's as successful as this, you know? Like, when you love the characters you're parodying, it feels so much more pleasurable and so much more fun, and that's why this movie feels fun. It doesn't feel like you're just spending an hour and a half hammering, like, a mean stereotype over the head, or, like, being unfeminist or being misogynist or anything, you know?
Yeah, no, I didn't get that sense at all. I got the sense that it was celebratory. That's the word I would use. Celebratory. Oh.
And
Oh, that was a loaded.
No, I just like I'm appreciating hearing your thoughts because like I honestly I was like, oh, this isn't this it's kind of mean towards Midwestern white women, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I couldn't tell.
Well, we know you couldn't tell. Alyssa Wilkerson for Vox in Alyssa's review, and I don't know Alyssa's pronouns, so I'm going to go with they. They write, Barb and Star pokes fun at aspects of being a standard issue Midwestern middle-aged white lady, the fashion mostly, without making the women themselves objects of ridicule. They're heroines, actually, and desirable ones, too. So that's Alyssa's take on this question.
Yeah, I think that's the point of this. Although they do come a bit out of their shells, definitely, when they get to Florida. That's for sure.
Were you guys surprised by 2 full musical numbers?
Thrilled.
I was devastated.
Yes. No, I loved it. It made so much sense too. That's a dream. When you're having a dream, it is a musical. Sometimes I just walk around my house and I sing songs like I'm in my own musical.
Amazing.
More of a Sondheim type thing, but
Sure, yeah. So it was a nightmare for you, AG. Were you worried that you had
I
signed
never
up for a secret musical?
Yeah, I was worried that there was going to be more songs and that you had tricked me into watching another music,al
by calling it a musical film.
Yeah. And I hate watching music and song in films, but also especially like songs I've never heard before.
But you were on board with the Bee Gees at the beginning.
Yeah. If it's a familiar pop tune, I get it.
I love this. This really hit a lot of different flavors for you, AG. But you stuck with it. You did a great job.
Twice.
The last little thing I want to just read and reflect on, because we recently did Fire Island, which we all loved. And this is via Rachel Simme's article in The New Yorker. She writes, quote, "The comedian and screenwriter Joel Kim Booster tweeted about the film. I hope little kids watch Barb and Star at a sleepover and only one of them gets it and thinks it's funny, and then that kid grows up to be famous and says one of their early influences was Barb and Star." In a concise way, Booster summed up an absurdist comedy's highest aspiration, that it be a few people's very favorite thing and otherwise alienate anyone who doesn't care to meet it on its own daffy terms.
That is excellent.
I agree with that.
That is so excellent. Yeah, I agree. And I definitely know when I was watching it and enjoying it, and I do think it is because of my love of certain kinds of comedy. And I mean, Kristen Wiig plays various types of this middle-aged woman all the years that she was on Saturday Night Live. I mean, that's just
even when she was in her 20s.
Yeah, that has been a staple character for her. So I wasn't surprised to see that, and I know what she thinks is funny. The same way, like I used Melissa McCarthy as an example because she too, I think, has that same affection for a certain type of woman that gets underestimated, and that's why I like it so much, and that's why I love this movie.
So we know that you think it pops, Lisa.
Yes.
I also think it pops.
Mm-hmm.
AG.
I feel like I don't have the cultural knowledge to appreciate this film.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about, like, I haven't been following Kristen Wiig's career. I don't know what she thinks is funny. I don't know what characters she's played before and why this would be funny based on that, or how names are funny and some names aren't funny.
Sure.
So I feel like I just don't have the background to understand what is going on in this
You make
film.
us sound like we were using that we have footnotes like in the Norton anthology here to have to look up like biblical references or Greek mythology. I feel so much smarter now when I'm not.
So it does not pop for you, but you're happy that it pops for other people?
Yeah. Let's put
That's
it that
very
way.
fair. That is so fair.
We do also love to leave our episodes on something we recommend more wholeheartedly sometimes, but I mean, not always. AG, would you like to go first?
I would like to encourage everyone to watch Iron Chef, Quest for an Iron Legend, which just debuted on Netflix. Iron Chef is returning from a long hiatus. And specifically, there is a challenger chef named Esther Choi on the series this year. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but she's a restaurateur from New York who is the head chef at Muck Bar. It's her business. And her journey on Iron Chef is inspiring. And I'm obsessed with Korean food right now, and everything she makes looks just like an incredible creation. I can't wait to someday, hopefully, try her restaurant.
That's awesome. Also, I love one of the new co-hosts of Iron Chef. She used to be on Top Chef, and I just adore her so much.
Oh, I can't wait to dig into this.
Is it Kristen?
Kristen Kish.
Yes. She is so great on her season of Top Chef. I highly recommend.
Yes, she's so cool.
Oh, she is ridiculously cool. It's painful.
I know her style is just.
I know,
love it.
So good. Lisa, what about you? What do you recommend?
Well, I was shopping at a favorite store of all of ours, probably in Vancouver, called Welks, and where I always end up is in the stationery section. And I love it so much. And I bought these note cards called, and this company called Pen to Paper. I haven't bought note cards in so long. And after this, I'm going to get your addresses so I can mail you, because these are the sweetest little note cards I've ever seen. They're from a company called Present and Correct. And I am super excited to be sending note cards. I'm just going to get some stamps. Have you guys heard of those stamps?
Yeah, I actually bought a roll of stamps like last year, because I was like, you know what? I'm going to send more cards.
And I'm going to send you a card. So this is my recommendation for everyone.
When they went to those stamps with no prices on it, like the eternity stamps or whatever, I invested in a bunch of stamps.
Smart.
Very
Honestly,
smart,
so
yeah.
smart.
But I also like to try and get amusing pictures on the stamps if possible, like something interesting. I mean,
That's harder
no
for the
offense
eternity
to our
ones.
queen and all, but I do
Yeah.
like to get, like maybe the shells of Nova Scotia or something like that. But anyway, you guys can expect some cards from my new card set, and I think everyone should make an
I love
effort
it.
to. Do you see the lovely little drawing
they look
pictures on it?
beautiful.
They are beautiful, and you will get them in the mail. So my
Can't wait.
recommendation
Thank you.
is go get some note cards.
Awesome. I can't wait to get my card in the mail. Thank you. I am going to recommend a audiobook. And I'm specifically get the book if you want, that's fine. But the audiobook has the author reading it. It is Jennifer Grey's memoir called Out of the Corner.
Wow.
Jennifer Grey, the star of Dirty Dancing. It is a fantastic memoir. It came
Really?
out, I think, this year. It is, I will say, this is part of a research, because I'm writing a Dirty Dancing book. So I was reading this for research. I am so glad I read it. It is everything you want in a sort of celebrity's memoir. It's her old Hollywood connections, her old Broadway connections, her parents and the legacy of that. It's understanding sort of the harshness of anti-Semitism in Hollywood and on Broadway, and what, how that has impacted her family and her. It has all the dishy gossip about her relationships and, just lots of revelations. She talks about her nose and the nose job that sort of ruined everything, quote unquote. She talks about coming out of that and how she's now and then she talks about her time on Dancing with the Stars and everything she went through physically, and how she's just coming out the other side of stuff. right now in her early 60s. And obviously also about Dirty Dancing. It's great. It is. I mean, she's not. I'm not going to say like she's not the most self-aware person necessarily in the world in terms of certain aspects of privilege, but she has more self-awareness than a lot of other celebrities. So I will give her that. And it's just really like fascinating to hear aspects of her story. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for listening. I really appreciate, and we all really appreciate you hanging out with us week after week. You could hang out with us online if you wanted. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You could email us at popthiscollective@gmail.com. And if you would like and be so kind, you could rate and review us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars. Yes, Apple Podcasts. I often rate us with 5 stars. One time there was a 4, but it was just because I thought we could have done better that week.
Yeah, fair.
Wow.
Totally fair.
Yeah, I know. Fair enough. And thank you to Andrea Gin, our producer and co-host here at Pop This Inc. We really appreciate you joining us every week, as you said, and thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.